The U.S. has added nearly 2,000 sanctions on Iran since 2018, and the country is currently under a new round of economic pressure. The campaign, dubbed Economic Fury, began in mid-April with a promise to use the full range of available tools and authorities against Tehran's economy. While the rhetoric is strong, the actions taken so far closely resemble the maximum pressure strategy from Trump's first term. This suggests a continuation of long-standing U.S. policy rather than a dramatic shift. The Treasury Department has now targeted Iran's currency dealers and 19 oil-linked ships, signaling a focus on financial infrastructure. And energy exports. One of the major Iranian foreign exchange houses has been hit with sanctions by the U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control. These exchange houses are crucial for Iran's trade, especially in foreign currencies, since conventional banking channels are restricted by existing sanctions. The sanctioned exchange house is said to manage hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions on behalf of sanctioned Iranian banks. This move is part of a broader effort to isolate Iran's financial system and cut off access to international markets. The U.S. is urging allies to join in by severing Iran's financial lifeline. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. Outside the country. However, Iran has been preparing for such actions for years. The country's economic resilience is being tested, but the impact of these sanctions remains uncertain. The U.S. is targeting Iran's oil trade and financial networks, but whether these measures will significantly weaken Iran's economy remains to be seen. The Treasury's focus on currency dealers and oil-linked assets suggests a strategy to disrupt Iran's ability to move and convert foreign currency. This could limit the country's access to essential goods and services. However, Iran has alternative routes and financial mechanisms in place, which may help it absorb the pressure. The U.S. is also working to expand the reach of these sanctions by involving other countries. The effectiveness of this approach will depend on how many nations choose to cooperate. If more countries join the sanctions, the financial pressure on Iran could intensify. But if allies remain hesitant, the impact may be limited. The U.S. has a history of using sanctions to influence Iran's behavior, but these measures have not always achieved the desired outcome. The current campaign is part of a broader geopolitical struggle between the U.S. and Iran, with financial tools being a key battleground. The next signal to watch is whether other countries follow the U.S. lead and impose similar sanctions on Iran's financial institutions and oil trade. If more nations participate, the economic pressure on Iran could grow significantly. Conversely, if global cooperation is limited, the U.S. may need to escalate its measures further to achieve its goals. The situation remains fluid, and the long-term impact of these sanctions is still unclear. The U.S. is clearly committed to maintaining economic pressure on Iran, but the effectiveness of this strategy will depend on international support and Iran's ability to adapt. The stakes are high. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. As the U.S. seeks to reshape Iran's economic behavior without resorting to military conflict. At the same time, Iran is working to maintain its economic stability through alternative trade routes and financial systems. The next key indicator will be how Iran responds to these pressures, whether through diplomatic overtures, economic adaptations, or retaliatory measures. The global community will also be watching to see if other nations align with the U.S. in this campaign, or if they choose to maintain trade and diplomatic ties with Iran. This dynamic could shape the future of U.S.-Iran relations and influence broader international economic policies.